Thank you. My name is Bob Moulton Jr., and I'm running for mayor of North Adams. I'm running because I believe that North Adams is headed in the wrong direction. We need new leadership in the mayor's office. Before I made a decision to run for mayor, I spent several months talking to people. The common theme was the frustration they were feeling as a result of what's going on in North Adams. Most are hardworking, middle-class people with families who are struggling to make ends meet. Frustrated by the fact that as taxes and fees continue to rise, the value of their property is declining. A few years ago, North Adams was an affordable community with good service, reasonable taxes, and a quality of life that was second to none. Much has changed over the past 45 months, as North Adams is no longer an affordable community with good services. Our quality of life is nowhere what it once was. The number of people who have sewer and water liens on their homes has increased significantly from years ago, and people simply can't afford these increases. Why can't the current mayor see what his policies are doing to the people he is supposed to be serving? He's more concerned about impressing his out-of-town friends and the people who live here. While there was no money to sweep neighborhood streets and mow recreational fields and cemeteries, the mayor found money to spruce up downtown for the Wilco Festival, saying he wanted North Adams to look its best for the visitors coming to the festival. No money to hide the problems that this city is facing. Maybe he should explain to the visitors why he turned down a $250,000 grant that would have paid for the demolition of the former Modern Liquor store on State Street. This eyesore sits right next to where 300 campers stayed during the Wilco Festival. A beautiful knoll field, and in the middle of the State Street is a dilapidated building. It wasn't long ago that Yankee magazine called North Adams one of the 5 hidden jewels in New England. The city is a hidden jewel, but after nearly 4 years of indecisive leadership, the jewel has lost some of its luster. I want the people in North Adams to be proud of the city again. And I want them to know that they will have a mayor who will not be out of touch with them, and they will have a government that is there to help them. There are many issues and problems that must be addressed over the next 2 years. Many are a direct result of misguided priorities and broken promises. Rather than spending nearly 4 years talking about a 30-year master plan, the mayor should have been working on an economic development plan that he promised 4 years ago. He promised to address the substandard housing issue, and we're still waiting. He promised a plan for the Mohawk Theater 2 years ago, and we're still waiting. He promised that a solar array would be up and running in December 2012, saving the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're still waiting, while Adams installation will be operating this month. With the progress the mayor is making on his 30-year master plan, it may take 30 more years to complete. With me as your mayor, there'll be no master plan, there will be an action plan, and it will be implemented. I'll get things done, and I will walk the talk. The failed policies and promises of the Albright administration have set this city back, and it's time for a new vision for North Adams. My vision will be basic and simple, but it will be doable, and it will set us on the road to recovery. As a community, we have to set our standards high and demand the best for North Adams. I will develop a strategy to address the most pressing issues facing North Adams today. They will not just be short-term solutions, but long-term as well. The most pressing issue facing us today in North Adams is crime. It wasn't long ago that people could walk the streets of this city without fear. We felt confident that our children and seniors would be safe. That's no longer the case, as we now receive code red alerts from the police department telling us to lock our doors because there's been a rash of break-ins throughout this city. My plan is simple. I'll put more police on our streets, and they'll receive the training required to do their jobs. I will set the direction and policy for the police department, but you will not see me at the scene of a crime talking to the news media. That's a job for the police director. In the words of candidate Kickoff, I will allow the people to do their jobs. My priority will be to adequately fund our police departments and not pass out $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 pay raises at the expense of our citizens' safety. Another key component is reducing crime is to address the problem of the poor housing stock, which is becoming a serious problem in the city. Instead of earmarking $44,000 to design and build a skateboard park, I'll use that money to beef up the inspection department. The number of blighted properties in North Adams is increasing with each passing day. Many apartments are going uninspected because there's not enough inspectors. The mayor eliminated the position in the health department, and the impact of this decision is causing additional blight in several neighborhoods. It's a contributing factor to the city's rising crime rate. As long as the health department remains understaffed, more and more undesirables will be moving into these substandard apartments. I will be aggressive in my dealings with these landlords and will give the Board of Health the tools necessary to do its job. I will make North Adams safe again, and the people will not have to live in fear as they now are. The city of North Adams' finances are in terrible condition. It's a direct result of poor management by the administration. The Scanlon audit, released earlier this year, stated that the city has to change its ways of budgeting and spending. The audit also indicated the lack of reserves would eventually result in the city's bond rating being lowered, resulting in higher interest rates for North Adams' future borrowing issues. The mayor claims we don't have a spending problem, we have a revenue problem. Translation: if Mayor Alkenbright is re-elected, expect to see more spending, along with the higher taxes and increased fees. In 2009, Dick Alkenbright stood before the people of North Adams and said he would never, ever shift the tax burden from business to residential. In December 2012, he did exactly what he said he wouldn't do. The result, tax breaks for National Grid, Time Warner, Walmart, Verizon, and many others, while the residential homeowner saw their tax burden increase. You now know who Dick Alkenbright wants to take care of, and it's not the middle class in North Adams. Much of the fiscal crisis was caused by reckless spending, along with $700,000 in salary increases. All the reserves have been depleted, yet in this year's budget, raises of between $3,000 and $5,000 were given out. Strong fiscal management means saying no when you don't have the money. It also means putting your priorities in order. Cemeteries and ball fields went unmowed, as the mayor told everyone there was no money when there was actually over $27,000 available that he used to fund pay raises that he gave to the chosen ones. When I become mayor, things will change. Our kids will play on mowed fields, and the families of those buried in our cemeteries will no longer have to go through what they did this year. 4 years ago, Dick Alkenbright promised an economic development plan that would create jobs and expand the tax base. We're still waiting for that plan. As the North Adams economy continues to decline, his idea of economic development is to give Crane a tax break in excess of $300,000 for no reason. Crane is moving their new lines to the city whether they receive that tax break or not. Guess who's going to pay for that? Next 3 years, we will be. Yeah, 1 week after this gift from North Adams, Crane made a nice gift of thousands of dollars to the Berkshire Museum for a special event. What's wrong with that picture? While the mayor was good at giving tax breaks to certain developers, he still has no economic development plan to create jobs that he promised people back in 2009. As mayor, I will create an economic development strategy. I'll bring together business leaders who have experienced success in their businesses. I will also call upon community leaders from throughout Berkshire County who will help us in developing a strategy to rebuild our economy. Our citizens need jobs that pay a living wage, and those jobs are simply not coming to North Adams and Northern Berkshire. It will take time, but we must begin the process now. We have one of the prettiest downtowns in all of New England, and 4 years ago it held such promise for future growth. The momentum, however, has been lost through inaction and lack of vision for the downtown business district. Did the mayor really think that 2 pocket parks and benches would lead to a vibrant downtown? It has been 4 years since any work was done on the Mohawk Theater. Tax credits in excess of $2 million have gone unused, as the current administration has failed to produce a plan that will complete the Mohawk's renovation. Another failed promise by the Alkenbright administration. 5 years ago, condominiums were selling in the downtown for $300,000, and work had begun on converting offices at 85 Main Street into upscale housing. Today that work has stopped, and the building remains half empty. In order to develop a strong housing component in our downtown, we need to finish the work on the Mohawk Theater. Equally important is the structure is part of our history, and it must be restored to its former grandeur, and that will happen if I'm elected mayor. Once this theater comes alive, there'll be all types of events taking place, and with its success, you'll see more people moving into the downtown, along with more restaurants and shops. They wonder how you bring people from Massamoka to Main Street? That's how you do it. It's not rocket science. I've been told that the current administration, along with a private group, has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on an urban plan for North Adams. Of course, they've done this behind closed doors, since they think there's no need for our input, because they're going to tell us what's good for us. I want to see a bread and breakfast on Eagle, a small funky hotel, bring new life to the street. People could experience great Mexican food and have one of those famous Jack hot dogs. I'll also rely on a report completed 17 years ago, which was used as a blueprint for the makeover of downtown back in 1996. The Hyatt-Palmer report should be revisited, as the city lacks a strategy to enhance the downtown. It's my dream to make Eagle Street the most unique street in New England. To me, it's the art in the buildings. We should do everything possible to revitalize those beautiful buildings. A good education system says a lot about the community. North Adams has always prided itself on providing quality education for its young people. A few years ago, good things were happening. North Adams school system was a recipient of many awards for innovation. Class size was small, and teachers were getting more done. Unfortunately, the city and the school system have taken their eyes off the ball as they focused all their attention on renovating a building. Then several months were spent on looking for a new home for the superintendent. Now the school department will have beautiful new offices on Main Street. I've been on Main Street, and I'll tell you, for all my adult life I've been in business, and that's not my idea of bringing new business to the downtown. We've got great teachers. We have to give them the tools they need to provide a quality education to their students. I believe a state-of-the-art education for all our students would have been much more beneficial than renovating a 150-year-old building. I also believe the time has come when North Adams should consider having its own charter school under the control of the school committee. A math and science charter school would fit in nicely with what they're doing at MCLA with their new facility. Forming a partnership with MCLA will benefit both of our prospective institutions. We must start thinking outside the box if we are to improve our school system. I will be an education mayor and want to see innovation return to our school system once again. I'm not a politician, nor do I have all the answers, and I know my limitations. In order to make all this happen, I will surround myself with the best and most experienced people to help me run our city government. I'll seek the counsel of former mayors, of administrative officers who've been in the fray before, and I'll turn to the people of North Adams to make sure they are not only listened to, but heard. I can't come out with my vision for this city without talking about what's most important to me, my family. Without whose support and encouragement, I would not be here before you tonight. I'd like to thank my wife, Bonnie, who gives me her love and all her support, and my mother, we affectionately call Supermom, because she truly is. To my father, who's looking down on all of us, all my brothers and sisters, brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, nieces and nephews, and all my friends who are supporting us in this endeavor. I'm up for this job, and I want very much to be your mayor. And over the next 7 weeks, let's take our pain to every neighborhood in this city and let them know that not only do we have a plan for North Adams, we want them to be part of it. In the words of George Bernard Shaw, some men see things as they are and say why. I dream of things they should be and say why not. I'd like to thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Let's go out there and let's do it. Thank you.